What's your story?
To my younger self, what's your
To
story?
my younger self.
To 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 my younger self. To my younger self.
To my younger self. What's your story? To my younger self. What's your story?
Well, hello and good morning. How is everybody doing? It is so good to see you. My name is Zoe Baraka. My goodness, today is the last day of February. Can you believe that? God has been faithful. 2023 is just like gliding along. The days just come and go so fast. And that is why we are so grateful that we get to come in here every week and kind of just share stories, just to kind of say, hey, where have you been? Where are you right now? Where are you going? You know, it's a very good space to kind of pause and share a story, to reminisce, to think back and be grateful for where you have been, and also be grateful for where you're going. And that is primarily why we do To My Younger Self. Listen, if you just came in, do me a big favor, go into the comment section. I want you to say hello to me in your local dialect, especially if you are in Africa or you are from the continent of Africa. Doesn't matter where you live, as long as your local language or your mother tongue is an African dialect. I want to hear from you. Just come in there, say good morning to me, say good evening to me, say good afternoon to me in your local dialect. Okay, Lady Juliet, I see you. Good morning from cold London. I know, but can you greet me in your local dialect? I want to hear from you. Professor Odd, hi, I see you. You're saying hello. Greet me in your local dialect, please. And yes, Lady Juliet, you made good on your promise. I am so thankful for that. We need more of you, you know, in the world. Listen, it is just good to see you. I'm very excited today. I know, you know, you can't see it on my face because of all the pancake that's on. But I'm very excited today because of the storyteller we have. And please do me a favor before we start kind of greeting each other and welcoming each other in the local African dialects. Please just go into that little button at the bottom of your screen, and then just click on the share button and share. Please share. Tell people we have started. By the fireside has started. Oh, come, and let's share a good time in storytelling, right? Alrighty, so where are you watching us from? It is so good to see you. Baraka dazua to you, Sanunku dazua yayade. Kakwana lafia. It is so good to see you. I am so thankful you're here. I just greeted you in Hausa. You know, I'm always saying how I love the Hausa language. It is one of the oldest languages in the world, and it's just such a beautiful language to comprehend. And I am very lucky to be able to speak it. Yakenken tuma fuduwela tuma awela to pose baraka. It is very good to see you. Ndinao to you. How are you? F1 Leke, I just greeted you in Eve. If you were born in the Volta region, if your parents were from the Volta region of Ghana, you probably speak Ebe. So I greet you. Etiseng Akwaba Mawache. It is very good to see you. If you speak any of the dialects of the Akan language, I just greeted you and I just welcomed you. Saubonani to you. If you speak Zulu, Ibella to you, Ibiokibari to you. It is good to see you. Thank you for joining us. All of our friends in Burkina Faso, especially if you speak Mori or Moshi, I just greeted you. Thank you for joining us. Te Oyo Teng. It is good to see you. Ochoko to you. I just greeted you in Gam. I believe that our guest today is going to kind of correct me, because I don't think I say ojeko very well. Lale to you. If you speak Chadi and Arabic, I just greeted you, all of you in the northern parts of Africa. We love you and we're thankful that you get to join us every once in a while. Thank you for joining us. Intuam Afet to you. If also you still speak Chadi and Arabic, thank you for joining us. How are you? Salam alaikum to all of our Arabian friends in that part of the world. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Let's just kind of sit by the fireside. Ekaro to you, ekabo to you. If you speak Yoruba, I greet you, I greet you. Nagadef to you. If you speak Wolof, I greet you, I greet you. All of our friends in Senegal, thank you for joining us. Jambo, habari gani, habari ya osubwe. Iya ore to you. I just greeted you in Swahili. Thank you for joining us. Of course, Katong to you, Amuhalang to you. If you speak Sesotho, Nyasi to you, Domilake. If you speak Bissa, the people of Bissa of Burkina Faso, thank you for joining us. Kotoli to you. If you speak Fofoli and you are Fulani, we are grateful that you're here. Bomdia to you, to all of our Portuguese-speaking friends scattered across Africa and the rest of the world. Bonjour to you. Of course, if you speak French, there's a lot of French-speaking people on the continent of Africa. So welcome, welcome. Buongiorno, buenos dias, imaraba to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is good to see you. I tell you, this part of the greeting is a whole show by itself. You know what I mean? I am very, very excited to be here today because of this particular woman. She is major fun. And let me tell you, she takes no prisoners. Oh my goodness. You know what? Let me stop gushing, or else I'm just going to go on and it's going to be like 20 minutes from now and she hasn't even been on yet. Okay. Now she is called Empress or Queenie at work. Her sisters at God's Women in Waiting, which is a prayer platform or an encouragement platform for women who just kind of want to gather and share the word of God with each other and pray with each other. In fact, I am one of them. Her sisters at God's Women in Waiting call her Lady Nada. That is true. I call her Lady Nada. She calls herself Duchess of Choco, and the government calls her Nada Naa Akowa Yartey. Nada Yartey is of Ghanaian origin. She had her secondary school education at Wesley Girls High School in Cape Coast, Ghana. She holds a BSc and MSc from the universities of Westminster and Anglia Ruskin, respectively, not respectfully. That could also work, actually. Never mind. Nada is a senior specialist biomedical scientist in hemostasis and thrombosis, and she dabbles in diagnostics and academic science. Chale, Shabriz Day. You see how I'm not even able to mention the words? Hey. She has worked in hemophilia comprehensive care centers, including the Catherine Dormandy Hemophilia. Please forgive me, guys, if I missed the words. I am not scientifically inclined, okay? And Thrombotic Center Royal Free Hospital, the Radcliffe and Churchill Hospitals in Oxford, and currently the Bart Health Trust NHS Royal London Hospital. Ayeka. Hey. Her work has seen her through groundbreaking gene therapy trials for congenital hemophilia A and B, publications in the New England Journal, representations at International Society for Hemostasis and Thrombosis, ISTH, and recently research into COVID-19 and associated vaccine-induced, this word right here, vaccine-induced thrombocytopenia. Nada makes her home in England with her husband and 3 adorable children. I know you guys are cracking up already going, what is Zoe trying to say? The science no day, Chale. Give me Shakespeare any day. But ladies and gentlemen, I absolutely adore this young woman. She is brilliant. She is spiritual. She is fun. She is down to earth. I love her. I love her dearly. Guys, please do me a big favor today. This show is for me. Okay, but I'm willing to share with you also. Do me a big favor, go into the comment section and just say hello, welcome, thank you for joining us to Nada Yartey. Hi, hi, hi.
Hey,
You gave me work today. Oh,
It's all right, Zoe. You did brilliantly. You
my
did very,
goodness.
very well. All the
Thrombo,
way to our point.
thrombofield.
It's thrombocytopenia.
You is okay. It's okay. You feel the way you did it very easily. You're trying to show me upside down now into Professor.
It is well. It is well.
Welcome to the show. My job is done.
Thank you. Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, everyone who is here. I see some of my beautiful friends there. I see Dr. Barbara. I see Kwame. I see a whole host of people. Moira, all the way from Australia. So
Ooh,
thank you
hello.
so much for coming.
Yes.
Kwame is from Trinidad and Tobago,
Oh,
and
wow.
Dr. Barbara from Ghana, and a host of people who will be joining, friends from London and all of you. So thank you so much for coming to Grace at this time. And I will say a special thank you to Zoe as well, and the producers for having me here, because the reason I say this is because we have had a host of people. I have been watching to my younger self for a while. Zoe is my sister and my big sis, Elsie. And then we've had a host of people. We have had the Fulani journalist.
Yes.
We have also had the courses seller's son.
Yes.
And we have had the woman with the super crazy face.
Yes.
And
Ooh,
Olga herself.
Yes.
We have had the village boy, Ben Doche Amelo.
Yes.
We have had so many people here that I do not stand to be with. So I am super grateful that you invited me, Zoe, and God bless you so much for doing that.
Thank you for
I
joining
appreciate
us.
you greatly.
You are
I
in
am
great company, by the way, just so you know. You fit right
you.
in. You know, I'm the village farmer's daughter. So see, we're right
There you go. We've also got the village daughter's village daughter, and I've also now come to introduce myself.
Let me introduce myself.
I have come to introduce me. Of all the people that I have mentioned in such good company, I present myself as the Duchess. I am the Duchess of Choco, the Duchess of Choco. My name is Nada, and I'm from the tribe of Ga and Dan, the Ga Adangbe tribe. Before I start, I think it's very important that we all know our origins and know them very, very well.
Yes.
Because most times there are stereotypes that really veer us away from who we truly are. And that is what I want to address first and foremost for the people of the Ga and the Dangbe clans, of which I am very, 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 very privileged and very, very proud to be a staunch child of the Ga soil. So here we are. I am originally from the 7 tribes of Ga, and my Akucho, which is where I would come from originally, or a family, is called the Akanwaji. So we've got tribes in Ghana, but the Ga tribe has 6 different groups. So we've got the La, we've got the Teshi, we've got the Nungwa, we've got the Toma, which we call Tema, but it's Toman.
Oh, wow.
A bottled town. So we've got the Toman, and then we've got the Osus, and we've got the Las. But I'm from the Gamashi. And the Gamashi also has tribes, which we call the Akuche. And my Akucho is the Akanwajing Akucho, of which I am also from the Ablekuma. When you hear them say Ablekuma, Abakuma, meaning let all people and tribes come into our fold. So I come from the Ablekuma side as well, from the Ni-Sempe Mensa way. So when I say I'm a Duchess, I am of blue blood origins.
Let me tell you, I love this so much because this is what To My Younger Self is about. Telling stories from our origin, about our origin. This girl understood her assignment. Let me not break your flow. Please go. Wow.
We bless God. We bless God. So when you are looking for me, they always say a Ghan's person's name is their address. So when somebody mentions their name coming from a Ghan tribe, whatever the name they mention takes you straight to one of the Akuche, meaning one of the tribes. So you mention somebody like Ni Lante comes from the Lante Jawi, and you know exactly where you have to go. When Nilante is missing or Nilante is lost, they just mention their name and you take them there. So the reason why I'm doing this is because from this century in which we are, where Accra, which is the very home of the Ga tribe, has become very cosmopolitan, and there's so many other people living with the Ga people.
Yes.
It has made the Ga community very, very small because everybody has joined in, and that's what actually the Ga people like. The people of the Gas like. They say, "Nyaba kumawo, come and join us, so that we all make our home here." So where did the Ga people actually come from? The Gans and the Dangbis, where are they from? How did they get to where they are on the land of Accra, where they call home? So the Gans came all the way from Israel, and people say the Gans are Jews.
Wait, hold up. You knew I was definitely. Okay, I love Nada for one thing. She never even talked about a history lesson. This is history. Please grab your pens and your papers. Wait, hold up. The Gaza from what, the who, what now?
So the Gans really, this is well documented. It's all in the chronicles and in the annals, so you can find them anywhere. So the Gans are from Israel originally, and people say that the Gans are Jews, but the Gans are not Jews. Actually, the Gans are of Hebrew origins. So the Jews are people from the lineage of Judah, and so they become Jews. But the Gans are actually of Hebrew origins. So they have come from our father Jacob, who had 12 sons, and the Gans are from the fifth line, and the Dangbis are from the seventh line of the sons of Jacob. So we got the Gad and Dan. Ga and Dangbi. So that's where the name comes from. Yeah. So the fifth and the seventh sons of Jacob, we've got the Gans and then we've got the Dangbis, and they came together. And the reason why these people came together was because they were being pursued by the Assyrians from Israel. Because our father, who had all of these sons, there was also that line of Ishmael, which is our Muslim brothers. And so they were being pursued by this other group because they would not convert to their religion. So they pursued them. And the Gans and the Dangbe says, no, we are not doing this. So we are going to move. So they moved all the way to Mizraim, current day Egypt. They moved to Egypt. And when they got to Egypt, they were still pursued by the Assyrians. And so they kept moving. And they moved all the way to Ethiopia. And they settled there for a while, but they still wouldn't have respite. So they kept moving. And when you get to this kind of history, you would know that the Gans and the Dangbis love to live by water because they find life with the water. So when they got to Ethiopia, it was a bit dry, and so they decided to move downwards to the Niger River, where they settled by the Niger River, and then they made home there. And they made home there, and they were still on the run. So they were still chasing them. And so they decided to form different groups, 4 different groups. And they kept moving until they got to a place called Ife in Nigeria. So when they got to Ife, which is of the Yorubas, they settled there. They settled in Ife with the Yorubas. But the Yorubas at the time had the slave trade going on. And so when they saw the Gad and the Dan tribe, they decided, oh, we've got merchandise now. So they began to sell the people. And so they had to go again. They had to go on the run again. They settled there, and then this happened, so they started to move. They moved to present day Benin Republic. And when they got to Benin Republic, they encountered another a stumbling block,
Right.
which was they were being killed as sacrifices for the gods of the Benin Republic.
God.
And if you know guys very well, what we hate most is blood. They hate blood. I work with blood, but I can't stand to see blood. It has to be contained for me to be able to do that. And so they got to Benin Republic. And so that was happening as well. And so they decided to move. And they moved again to the Volta. Well, they moved to Togo first. And then some decided to stay in Togo because in Togo they found peace. Some stayed in Togo. And then the rest decided to move to Volta. And when they got to Volta, there was one of the leaders called aaaah. They got to Volta and aaaah stopped. Aaaah said, I'm not going again. And so they said, okay, if you're not going, you can stay here because this is peaceful for you. And they moved on. But when they got to Accra, they decided to bring aaaah back. Aaaah said, I'm not coming. And the locals there are present day people. So they brought the message and said, aaaah, meaning aaaah is not coming.
Oh my God.
That is how we got aaaah. But they are not called the aaaah people. We call them the aaaah people, but they are the ever people. Yeah, they are the evers. So that's why when you go to this kind of lands, you find Ga names resonating with the aaaah people. Right. So we move.
No. I have tears in my eyes and I'm trying very hard. I'm trying to, you can swallow your tears. I have tears in my eyes because of the joy with which I am learning this and the resonance of it and the interconnectivity of humans. Can you imagine how far?
Yeah.
Just go. Oh my God.
So this all happened all the way in the 6th century BC, before the birth of Christ. That is when my people moved all the way to settle in Accra. So when they settled in Accra, some people lived in the mountains. And so you've got the Shai and Osudoku people of the Dangbe living up there. And then you come down and then you're coming towards La. And then you're coming towards Osu and then Teshi and then Gamashi, of which I am where I am from. I'm from Gamashi. And the reason I'm telling this story is for us to understand where the stereotypes have come from. We love to live in groups. The Ga people love to live in groups. So wherever you are, you don't find a Ga living by themselves. If you go into other parts of the world where you have Hebrews and Jews, you will realize that they do not live by themselves.
Oh, I know that. I lived with them for a long time. They did not.
No, we don't live by ourselves. We always live in
very communal
families.
And
in very, very communal.
Social, what they call that for those who did poli science is they're sociologists or they, because they like to be.
We live social communities. Yes.
You have this, I'll take it. I'll give you this. I have this amount of money. You need a house. We'll build it together. But
really, the reason why the Ga and Dangbis live like that was because during all these little movements that they did, most of the women were raped. Their children were taken as slaves. People broke into camp. So every time there will have to be someone in the house to blow the whistle that people are coming to invade. So you will never go into a typical Ga home and not find a station like a watchman in the house. You'll have some women always there looking after the children, giving them food whilst other mothers are gone out. There'll somebody be in the house. This is why people say, oh, when the girl marries, they are always at home. They never live in their husband's house. They will go in the morning, a typical Ga community. You'd see the wife go into the husband's house in the morning, in the night, but they will definitely come home in the day. This is if they are not working. You will definitely find them home in the day. And then they will all be there, uncles, sisters, aunties, from whatever line of generation they will be. That is the reason why we live together. We live together. And people say, oh, the girls don't like moving home and they don't like living by themselves and they don't build houses. But no, we all live together because epigenetically it is enshrined intrinsically in us.
Wait. Hold up. Epi, what now?
It's epigenetic. So this is what informs your phenotypic genes by way of the environment. So the environment like kind of shapes you, and it's a study called epigenetics. So it has shaped us, and that is why we live together in big spaces. I mean, you find a 3-bedroom house with 20 people living in there. That is nothing strange. This is how we live. It is part of our community. So when people say the guys like to live together, they are in slums and they like to close-knit, that is one of the reasons. This is one of the stereotypes I like people to have a broader mind of. It is nothing that we can't build houses or we can't live in homes, but it has been enshrined in our DNA. It is with us that we have to live together. You do this unconsciously. You have to live together. So that's one of the stereotypes broken.
you grabbed a big hammer, like Thor's hammer, and smacked it.
Smash.
You smashed it. Let me tell you. You know, and I think Lady Juliet and Professor Audrey, they were all here and they were talking about how in the comment section, they're saying, wait, I thought the guys were partly Nigerian. And that's the extent of the history I also know. The part about Hebrew, I have never thought about or even okay.
All of this is actually well documented.
No,
and when you look at our culture during the FOMO war, it's just like the unleavened bread of when they break the bread. That FOMO war that we do, it's unleavened. During the FOMO war, we paint the doors. They used to do it with blood, and then they couldn't afford the animals, so now they do it with red mud. And red mud is actually something that you can find on the land of the Nunwas. There's red mud, and it has to be taken to put on the door so that when the Hamashit comes, the Hamashit is the angel of death. It will pass over. So this is all Jewish culture. The other thing that we do that is resonating with our Hebrew culture is the circumcision of our boys on the 8th day. And then the pogiemo that we do, the pogiemo is a naming ceremony on the 8th day. It's always also a Hebrew culture. It's in the Bible. If you go into Deuteronomy, it's there. It's also of our Hebrew heritage. So there are parallels that takes us real back home to where we have actually originated from.
That's given me a full circle of a story that happened to me in Suffern, New York, which is a Jewish community. And I worked there for a while. And this Jewish man, he must have been a rabbi because he had his yarmulke and everything, sees my name and obviously, where do you get Baraka from? And he says, where are you from? I say, I'm from Ghana. Oh yeah, that's West Africa. You know, you people are Jewish. And I was just like, brother.
You can be Jewish all you want.
Move on. Okay, My name is like very typically Arabic, so I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, but this is so interesting because we don't teach this to
Yeah.
our children.
Mm.
And this is, I love this so much. We say we're here to tell stories. You just gave us a whole history lesson and a whole story about who we are. This is crazy. And Zoe, don't do it. Please just go on. Yeah.
So yeah, you can draw all of those parallels. I was at where we live together as a community. And the other thing that we do is that we love to live by the water. And we lived by the Nile for a very long time. Now, the Ghanaian custom and culture has been infiltrated by a lot of fetishism. There's a lot of fetish in there, but originally it wasn't so. Because when they were traveling all the way from the Nile, they had what we now called Mulomoy. These are priests or prophets that came with them.
Which is exactly what it was, even when Jacob was moving from Laban's place to, in fact, I think the Lord just gave me a whole business plan just based on the way Jacob was arranging his family to meet his brother Esau. But there was, don't do it.
So we've got the Wulomoy, and these are the prophets who God actually gave directions as to how and where they should move. And their leaders that came with them from the Nile, we now call the Naa Wulomo, meaning the Nile prophet.
I am so glad I was not taking a sip of my tea because I would have just spit it out. What?
Yeah, so we got the Naye Wulomo, the Nile prophet. And we have gone quite astray from what the real meaning of these people are because of the infiltration of all of these fetish practices. But if you look straight into the Bible, all of these things that they would have done from the journeys that they took all the way from Israel to present day Ghana is all enshrined in the Bible. Okay, so all that we have to do is to go back to the word. Go back to the word.
Let
So
me
I
tell
will
you,
just
Juliet says, she just raised up her hand and says, Nada is the real MVP of all guns I know.
Oh, bless you, Juliet. Bless you, Juliet.
What? And then Eric says, this informs a stereotype about the people of Teshi growing up. We used to say they always crossed the street and caused traffic because they slept on one side of the road and showered on the other side. Wow.
Yeah.
Nada, your job is done. Look at that stereotype you just broke.
Oh yes, because there has to be watchmen watching from all corners. So we are everywhere. We are everywhere. And that is our people. And we love to live by water. We live by the Nile. And when we got to the sea, we had to stay because the sea kind of represented the Nile for us. And most Ghanaian living by the sea are Ghans. And if you're moving towards Winneba and then you see the Fantis there, they are also there. And I'll tell you a story about the Fantis in a little while that interconnects with the Ghans. So,
you came for me today. I told you guys this show was for me, right? You guys are just coming along for the ride, but yeah, wow.
So one other thing that I want to break by way of stereotype, and this I don't think I can do justice to. I think I can just try. Okay.
But Nada, before you go on, let me just we just put up this ticker right here. 2 weeks ago, To My Younger Self started a support Don Francis and his class to go for an excursion in Accra kind of drive. And today is the last day, and you can see all the information at the bottom of the screen. If you feel inclined, this is not a by force fundraiser. It happened very organically because we never fundraise on this platform. But Don Francis is an incredible 21st century teacher who is bringing along his class in a very rural place, very unfortunately deprived space. It's not supposed to be in modern day Ghana, but it is. And he's helping his kids see other parts of Ghana. It blows my mind that we can live in Ghana and not see Ghana. How sway? But he is doing that. He's trying to get his kids to go see different parts and see libraries and museums and how people live, you know, because where he is, there's a big chance they don't even know what the Gas are. So he's also in a bid to break some stereotypes. So there is an MTM number here. It's what we call in Ghana the Momo number. It belongs to our big brother Naa Akowa, a very trustworthy person. We're putting together resources. Don Francis and his class, they need 4,000 Ghana cedis. Guys, we can certainly help. So if you feel inclined, just grab that number off of the bottom of the screen and just send whatever your donation is. It can be 20 Ghana cedis, it can be $20, it can be 20 pounds, 20 euros or Swiss francs, whatever it is, send it to Naa Akowa, please, okay? And just preface it and say for Don Francis. He will know what it is. He has a whole spreadsheet with that in there. And thank you to all of those of you who already donated. A few of you donated in dollars, a few of you donated in Swiss francs. We're very, very grateful for that. And a lot of you donated in Ghana cedis. Thank you. We're almost there at that 4,000 mark. But let's blow their minds and make it even more, you know? A lot of fish does not spoil the soup. Okay. All right. Zoe's rant and talking is done. Back to you.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for the support that you give to Don Francis. God bless you. So, yeah, I want to break another stereotype. And it is the fact that I'm just saying that I will only try for this one because there have been another group of people who have just kind of steered that stereotype onto the left. So it is about the fact that the Gas are very loud, they say. They say that the Gas are very loud. They also say that the Ashantis cannot say R and L. They also say that Amadou or Mohammed has a temperament that cannot be tamed. But
my people.
I want to demystify this notion that the Gas are loud. I think it is true. I mean, but there will be a reason for everything, right, Zoe? There must be a reason.
There must be a reason.
There must be a reason.
Yes.
And we have always said that we are loud because we live by the sea. And our voices cannot go over the waves. So if you have to call Acho, you go Acho.
Yes,
so then you just don't go calling Acho. You go Acho, and so then Acho would hear you over the waves, and Acho will come. And so that is one of the reasons why we have that overtone in decibel. The other people who have tried very hard not to do this, actually, and they live by the sea, are the Fantis.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Very, very, yes.
The Fantis are quite put together in that way, and you actually can't hear them. Although they live by the sea. But so I have tried. I'm only saying that do not get into a shout match with a gun.
With a gun. Because
You'd rather be able to cry me a whole river on the field than succeed.
Wow.
So don't try doing that. don't try doing that. Don't try doing that. The one thing that you should not also try to do is to try to fight a gun. Blow by blow. Don't try it for your own good.
What is the reason for that?
Because I'll tell you the reason for that. Don't try it. Because by the time you try fighting a gun, and that will take me to my next story, you are having a battle on your hands. So before they come and stand in front of you and you start a fight, they will go and tell you exactly how they are going to go the fight. So they might say something like, I'm going to break your legs and break your nose and pluck your eye out and pull your hairs away, and one of your teeth will come out. And then I'll just finish you off. And they will go through exactly. Is that not a gift?
Where does that come from? See, you've already, now you've stimulated my history lesson thing. It must come from somewhere.
Have you heard about the little guy called David?
So it is a Hebraic thing.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Wow.
When David was going to kill Goliath, he told Goliath exactly how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take your sword and I'm going to cut your head and I'm going to give it to the fowls of the air to eat you up. And the guy went through that. Exactly. You are going to...
Wow. That's a wonderful lesson from life, regardless of who or where you come from. That no matter what you stand in front of, please, let's not do this with other human beings. We don't.
No, we are not. We don't condone violence.
Yeah, but when you stand in front of an adversary, whatever that thing is, it would behoove all of us to literally look at that big mountain or whatever it is we're going through and give it a blow by blow
breakdown
of how we're going to overcome it. In fact, it's a business principle. I'm going to go to school because you said I can't. I'm going to get a master's degree and I'm going to have a big factory and this and that, and you proceed to do it.
The Bible says, write the vision down so that he that may see it might run.
I never thought about that. The girl came for me. Wow.
Yes. So he that may see it might run. Write the vision down. So blow by blow fight. They will tell you exactly what they are going to do, and they will just work through it. Yeah.
Wow.
So this brings me to my last stereotype.
Before you go on, I have a question from our producer for you.
Yeah.
And she says, I have a question for Nada. She wanted us to answer. She says to be answered at the end of the show, but let's just tackle it. What birthed this passion for history? Who sowed the seed that has birthed this passion?
Well, this passion, if I have to start how that would be in another story. I think I'll tell my big sis Zoe about this passion. I'll tell you in another story, and maybe in my last story.
Okay.
So that will be answered.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll put this one to the side for now, and we'll continue. Yes.
Thank you so much. So now I'd move away from the history, and I'll come to stories related to my tribe that I have personally encountered by way of how my tribe works on person-to-person basis. Ooh. So here am I was born, bred in Choco. I grew up in Choco. I only left Choco when I was maybe 24 years old. So I have lived there all my life. And I've told you that I come from a royal family. So in my family, there is the big house, Shiaulu. We call it the Shiaulu. So there is the big house. And in the big house, you have, like I said already, everybody else living in the big house. So my first encounter as to how this family works came from the big house. And as a child, I would be sat there and all the females will be there. Most of the males will be there. Some of them would go and find food, work, whatever, fish, and everybody's in the house. So let's say Zoe comes home and Zoe is in a very pensive mood and Zoe comes to sit down. Let's say Zoe, I'll give you one of the girl names, and Zoe comes to sit down quietly. So your body language in itself is a speech to all girls. Okay, so a guy would say, you looked at me this way. And they are saying, but I didn't. But the interpretation or the perspective that she's got is a whole lot of sentence. So Lamle will come and sit down, and Lamle is in a pensive mood. And Lamyoko, who is her sister, will ask Lamle, where Minisani? Meaning, Lamle, what's wrong with you? And all that Lamle needs to say is it not Aquashon? Maybe Aquashon is the husband. Is it not Aquashon? Immediately we hear J Aquashon, or is it not Aquashon? Lamle will not have to tell you what Aquashon has done. You will hear Lamyoko saying, Ayika, Cho, Ache, Aquashon. By the time you realize 50 people are on their way to Aquashon's house. And this happened in real life, in my life. To Aquashon's house. They get to Aquashon's house, and Aquashon is already checking in their boots because Aquashon knows what is going to happen. And if he doesn't get a good explanation for this tribe, Aquashon would have a very strong, strict warning. That is the least Aquashon could have. Or Aquashon will be pushed around to justify what he has done to Lamle, although Lamle never explained what Aquashon did. So this happens in my household. It happens, okay? So everybody looks after everybody's case. Your case is my case, and my case is your case.
Your case, my goodness.
So I got married, and because I know that this is what goes on in the family, I kind of secluded myself or made myself a bit small because, because you do not want to be on the wrong side of these people. So I got married, and on my marriage reception, all of these people were there seated at one table. And I go to them and I say, this is my husband. I introduce him to everybody else. And then one of the big women says, I'm going to meaning you are not coming to show him to us. If we have any issues, who are we going to see? What are we going to say? Whose name are we going to mention?
Oh my God.
So I said, Afio, meaning small auntie. Afio, don't worry about this one. I've got this covered. I walk away with my husband really quietly, and glory to Jesus, I haven't had any of them come to intervene in my affairs.
Because he would really get it. He would get it. Wow.
I haven't had any of them come to intervene in my affairs. And my husband was on one of his travels into Ghana, and then I was at home one morning and he calls me and he says, Nah, I met your sisters. I said, which of my sisters? So now every guy is a brother or a sister. So he said, I met your sisters. I said, what are my sisters doing? He said, your sisters were having a little squabble with a taxi driver. So I said, what do you think would have happened? And he said he was at this gas station and he was observing what was going on. So he goes close and he says, Inyeme, my sisters, what's the matter? And then one of the women said, mind you, in anatomically, most guys are divergent in their BMI.
Huh? Wait, what did you just say? You just what? You literally just went into science. Most guys are what in the what?
They are divergent. They are divergent in their BMI. So instead of going this way, they go that way.
They're trying to say they have very nice round posteriors. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not just the posteriors, the entire outlook is a bit bigger.
Okay. From now on, until my younger self, we're going to just start saying that person was generally divergent in their BMI, and we'll
That's the one. Yeah, you don't want any problems with anybody. So
I have never heard that said before. Wow.
So here are these four divergent women wanting to push their bodies in a little Nissan Micra.
Oh my.
And the driver is saying no. And the driver is saying no. Mind you, they are not only four, well, but they have also got this 145-liter containers full of food, which they have already packed behind the car. Immediately they stopped the driver. And the driver is saying, I'm not going.
No.
Either you pay me this much or I'm not moving. And they're saying
supposed to go no matter how much they pay him, because that car can't carry them.
But Zoe, here's the problem. They're actually not going to pay. That was the problem.
This story is
so they're going to pay. They decided that they were going to pay, let's say, maybe $5. And the driver is saying, no, for all of this that you have, plus you, four of you, with this, your bodies, I'm only going to charge $20. And they're saying, this is Garland. You came from the forest. So you are not going to get $20. We are going to pay you $5. And that is what you are going to do. And you are going to take us. So my husband was behind them, listening to all that was happening. And he knew that there was no way this was going to stop unless somebody intervened. So he went and said, my sisters, what's going on? And so they explained how this person from the bush now wants to take $20 from them instead of $5, or they were only going to go 30 miles away.
wow.
So my husband said, it's no problem, I'll pay them. So, and then they said, Nyatashi, all of you sit down. Our brother is going to pay for us.
Wow. What an incredible story.
So that's how resilient and persistent the guys can be. So if you have any issues with, but I must say, having said all of that, the guys are the most amazing people you can ever meet.
Yeah.
They are the most fun-loving people. They are the most generous people that you can ever meet. So in all of our quirks and the stereotypes that we face, you will have to live with us. You need us to have that cohesion in your life. So here are the Ghana people presented to you. And that is my first story.
That is, I am so enamored by the whole show today. Is absolutely ridiculous. I had a few people in the comment section going, I have to go back and watch this. I never ever rewatch a show except for when you're trying to kind of pick up on your skills and stuff like that. because I don't know, for most people who do this, we don't really like to hear ourselves.
Exactly,
I don't
definitely,
like to hear the sound of
definitely.
my voice at all.
Yeah.
So I hardly ever go back to watch a show, but I think I'm gonna have to get over this little thing about hearing the sound of my voice, just to really get the history again. My goodness, I get it so much now. I get it so much now, and how very communal they. Wow, wow. I'm gonna let you continue. This is
Yeah,
incredible.
I'm gonna just say a few short stories, and then we can go. I wouldn't hold you any further.
I think that our audience is here for it, and I'm also here. What do you guys say? We're here for it, right? Just give me a thumbs up, but we're here for it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, everyone. Sorry for keeping you all this
No,
time, but
it's 55
some of
minutes
these things
in.
must be heard.
55 minutes in, and you started telling your stories at mark of 10 minutes. So you really haven't said anything at all. And look, here are the thumbs up coming in. You know, these
Oh,
guys.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. So my next story is going to be quite personal. It's going to be about me and my journey in life. And I'm going to be very short. But in all of that, I want us to take a few lessons home and with my life story. I have already told you where I've come from. And I don't know whether you can still remember that I told you that I come from Choco.
Yes.
So Choco is a maritime town where there's a lot of fishing activities going on. If you want to, where you are in America or wherever you are on the earth, equate it to a place. In America, I'll equate it to Milwaukee. I'll only equate it to Milwaukee because I was passing through my living room and on Netflix, I saw Milwaukee, a documentary going on. And I turned and said to my husband, what is Choco doing on the television?
Oh my
I
God.
said, what is Choco doing on the television? And then he said, oh, no, it's Milwaukee in the US. I said, right, this is interesting. So if you want to have a picture of what Choco looks like, apart from the gangs and all the killings, Milwaukee would be a place you'd want to equate it
I
to.
like that distinction, apart from the guns and the
Apart
killing.
from the guns and the murders. And if you want to look at how slummy, so the slum it is, I have also seen a place in Kenya called Kabri. And Kabri is a slum area where you can equate. So the Choco is it's a community, a gang community. And as I've already explained, this is how the gangs live. And there is little infrastructure by way of support from the government. It's very, very underserved. And so this is where I grew up. There is a lot of poverty in there. People have lived there for many, many years. Most of them are now educating their children because they are mostly fisher folk and they would want their children to help them with their trade. But now most of them are actually very, very educated.
Yes.
It is a very fun place to live, Choco. It's a very, very safe place. People who haven't been to Choco would say, oh, I don't want to go there. I'm selling Choco to you today. You have to go there.
Wow.
You have to go to Choco to actually experience what you will not experience in East Legon. You'd have to go there and experience the warmth and the love that you see from the people in the streets that know you from nowhere. The community feel and the help that you will get from there is second to none. And I dare say it's one of the places in Ghana where it's so much fun.
See, now I think I'm putting it on my to-do list.
You have to visit Choco. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Wow. Mm.
You have to be self-aware to feel all the fun around you.
Mm. Mm.
You would hear people singing, and they are very artistic in a lot of things. Number one, they can compose music from anything.
Can you do that now?
Awulazo oheya for awulazo oheya for awulazo e oya kudu awulazo e oleni awulazo oheya for awulazo e manyejibo.
What? Oh, I'm gonna take that little clip and just play it for myself every time. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. So they come up with things like this, and the festivals there, you know. So it's a place for people to go to and for people to actually experience for themselves before they come out with whatever they have to say about Choco. Of course, there is the fact that they are underserved. There is the fact that they have their quirks. But I'm selling it to everyone today that it is the place to be. Go write the story for yourself. Go learn about the people for yourself. So I grew up in this community. And when I was growing up, I grew up knowing poverty. Poverty is something that I believe that I have an authority on. I can speak about poverty.
Wait.
And
Hold up. I hope you guys have a pen because she said some very important things. Okay, she says she believes she's an authority in poverty. We're gonna go into that right now. But the other thing you said that just kind of, she says, go there and write the story for yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's what To My Younger Self is about, has always been about, hearing the story from, for lack of a better phrase, from the horse's own mouth, as opposed to waiting to hear the horse's story from, I don't know, the cheetah or the leopard or the mule or the cow, or the dog. Go there and write the story for yourself. I think today the running theme in all of this is research for yourself, read for yourself, tell the story for yourself. And that's why we're here listening to Lady Nada. All right, I just thought I should kind of put it all together, but let's go. Yes.
Okay, so I grew up in this place, and for a lot of atypical reasons, I found myself living as a very, very poor child in a very poor neighborhood. And if you have a neighborhood like Choco, that is very, very poor, and the people on the land who are poor are calling you poor, then you are very poor. Yeah.
Did you guys just get that? If the poor man is saying, you're poor.
You're poor.
Just say, you now.
You are poor. You are poor. Yeah. So you are poor. You are not doing the word poor justice by qualifying you as poor.
Wow.
So for all atypical reasons, I found myself living that way. And it was really, really difficult to come by food, simple food, which is supposed to be poverty levels, by all means, Juliet. Simple food that is supposed to be the barest of necessities for every human to have some kind of decency was completely denied me. It could be for days. So I go for days and days without food. I'd go to school in my primary age and come back home just to come and see if there is food. And if there's no food, I go back to school again, knowing that when I come back from school, there will be no food. And if there's no food by the evening, there is no way there's going to be food by the morning. So you know that you're going to go to bed without food. And this carried on for years and years and years, and nothing changed. If you don't have food, what hope is there for you to have any clothing at all? So you don't have food, you don't have clothing, you don't have footwear. But what I had, I would say and speak for myself, is the passion to break out of all of this. I have a passion, and I was always told, or I picked up, that the only way that I was going to really get out of this is by education. And so, irrespective of the fact that I did not have food to eat, I had the most indecent clothing to wear, barely any kind of shoes, I needed to go back to school. When I came home and there was no food, I had to go back.
Go back. Wow.
And we did that. And we huddled as a family. My family, we huddled through it all. So this was going on for years and years. And at the time, I did not know anything about the Bible because I came from a royal family that is very fetish. So all I knew was about fetishes. And one day I was so hungry. That was when I think I was 6 or 7. I was very, very hungry. And my mother and my siblings were sat there, there's no food. We are just sat there. And so I got out of the house and I went to one of my mother's friends of blessed memory. Her name is Auntie Vera. She sells food stuff. And I went to Auntie Vera and I said to Auntie Vera, my mother said, you should give me this and this and this and this and that. And that should pay you tomorrow. So I brought all the food home and I said to my mother, Mom, you know what? As I was going playing, I just found this money somewhere. And I went to Auntie Vera's and bought all of this and brought it to us. So my mother was very excited. She thanked the gods that she knew. And then she said, oh, it must be your dead grandmother who has made you find this money. And I knew what the truth was. So immediately I knew from age 6 or 7 that all of this that we have been doing and worshiping is all a lie. I made that conviction on that day.
Wow.
That this is not true. And from that day until I got born again at age 12, I knew that there was something different to what I was brought up in or to what I knew. And so it was going on, but for some reason,
see, as a storyteller, I'm tempted to ask. So, how did your mom pay for the food at some point?
Well, I think Auntie Vera came asking for the money.
Oh,
Auntie Vera came asking for the money, and then she knew that the gods hadn't provided.
Oh my God. You know, and Christabel does ask a very poignant question, because as you were sharing the story, which is very heartbreaking and sad, I'm thinking to myself, but we're communal people. We're living in a big compound house, and this is also a royal family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, of course, the poverty is still there because it touches everyone, no matter, even the king or the chief of the space. Because of where you are and some factors, even the chief at some point would experience some lack. Yes,
I call them the atypicals, but there's a lot in that word.
Right. So how is it that even in that communal space, there was no food? That is the part that I'm just going like, oh my God.
Remember that you can supply so much for so many people for so long. So at a point in time, somebody must take responsibility for what someone else has been doing all these years. And if there's nobody to pick it up because they cannot find their way, then there is a cycle that actually continues. And that's how the poverty goes on. It's like a revolving door. And then it goes on. Wow. So yeah, that's what happened. At age 12, I was sat in maybe not 12 actually, let's say 9 or 10. I was sat in school and a girl came to me. Her name is Philomena. I don't know where she is about in the world, but she comes and she gathers all the children and she says, I want to tell you something. And she says, I went to church and they preached about Christ. And they said that our heart is full of cobwebs. And when we receive Christ, he comes in and he cleans all of these things. And he gives us what is called the Holy Spirit, which is able to help us to do all things. And I listened to that story and I made a decision and said, that's what I need. Yeah. So a child evangelized to me.
I cannot believe that.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was it. You didn't.
That was it. Wow. I didn't need anything else. That's all I needed. I need this man and the Holy Spirit that makes all things possible. Wow. So that's all I needed. And so for some reason, I think the Holy Spirit makes his word able in your life. Once you believe, there is a work that starts from the inside of you. And if you are willing, he takes control. You're right. And so at that age, I don't think I was reading the Bible at all. I mean, who reads the Bible and actually understands anyway at this age without preaching?
You didn't have the wherewithal to find the Bible in the space that you were in. Where were you going to get a Bible?
Exactly. Nobody had one. So I was going about my business. But there were things that kept ringing on in my ears. And there were things that I did that I now, in hindsight, understand. Wow. So before I went to secondary school, I would write things down of how I wanted my life to be. I would write things down. And I took a paper and a pen and I wrote my entire life, the way the course I wanted to run on that paper. And I folded the paper and I put it under, in this places, if Kofi Chisa is on, he'll bear me witness. We've got these chairs and we've got this foam in it. So it's like a foam, and then we'll put a bag on it. It's like a polythene bag, but it's got description on it. And one of the description is Adomarakwa. So you've got this Adomarakwa sits in your room.
I have never seen that before. What are we talking about?
You haven't seen Adomarakwa. Anybody knows what Adomarakwa is? So it's a foam. It's like a settee, but you have to cover it with this plastic bag, and it's got some flowers and some colors on it. On it is inscribed Adomarakwa, and that's where your living room is, and you sit on there. So
wow.
Well, there's this Adomarakwa seat. Adomarakwa, by the way, means it's only the grace of God.
Yes, for those of you who don't speak, their Akan language, that's really it. But the grace of God. Oh my God! Usually do it.
Exactly. Yes.
You don't know about this.
Sorry. Come on, you are too posh.
And I thought I grew up in poverty, though. I really did.
I told you there's poverty levels. So I got the Adomarakwa seat. I folded my paper beautifully and hid it on the Adomarakwa. Wow. And then I saw God working through my life in what I have written down. Yeah. So I started working with what I call my imagination. I started working in my imagination, and I now, in hindsight, kind of related to Ephesians 3:20. That says, our God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can think or imagine, according to the power that worketh in us.
You didn't know there was the power.
I didn't know that.
But the funny
I
thing
didn't know
is
that.
that you had an imagination. You wrote it
Yeah,
down. You were going
yeah.
to a biblical principle.
Mm.
Imagination, write the vision, and you put it in a chair that is called grace.
Adomarakwa, yes.
How very prophetic that is for a child.
Yeah.
Things we do. What a story.
Mm.
Wow. And has
So
everything happened on that list?
yeah, and more and more. So my
Guys,
life is
let's take a pen and paper. I need this Adumarakwa chair. Wow.
my life is under this Adomarakwa, and then I'm ticking it off. So for some reason, I have never heard of the school called Wesley Girls High School. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Never. Never. All I knew was St. Mary's, Laboni Secondary, all the schools in Accra were all right. And maybe Every Girls. Never heard of Wesley Girls High School. Never heard of the place. And it came for me to choose the schools I'll be going to. And my father was like, you are going to St. Mary's Secondary School. It's very close. You can come home and eat. You can even be a day student.
When we don't need to give you a box and fill
No,
it with provisions.
you have to stay at home. I'm thinking, stay at home. Stay where? Where? No. There's no bed here. At least I get to sleep on a bed if I have to go to the boarding school.
Wow, that was the reasoning.
Yeah, I could sleep on a bed if I have to go to the boarding school. At least I could get something to eat there. You're asking me to be going back and forth? No way. For some reason, anyway, I thought along those lines. I said to my dad, no, I don't want to go to St. Mary's. And he was bent on it because I'm sure the guy knew how he was going to manage my St. Mary's affair and all of that. And I said no. And so, well, I cried my way out of it. And I said, okay, I'm going to Wesley Girls High School. He said, I haven't heard of the school. Where is this place? So we researched and we found, I said, all the way in Cape Coast. This is not happening. Anyway, we fought through to it as a family. I ended up in Wesley Girls High School. I had to go to Wesley Girls High School. I mean, there is no money to go anywhere. No money to go anywhere. And I said to my mother,
why did you have to go to Wesley Girls? Was there a scholarship? Was there?
No, there was nothing. I didn't think about how I was going to go. All I needed to
picked
it up. Yeah, I just picked it at random. One of the schools that I wanted to go, just as random. And it was that Wesley Girls or no other. I didn't know how exemplary they were. I didn't know how astute they were. I didn't even know what I had to do to get there or even where that place is.
Was it the name? Did the name sound good to you?
I have no clue. I have no idea. And in hindsight, I always say that God puts handful of purpose on your way. He just drops things in your way and you want to do this, but you don't know why you want to do it. You know, and you just kept pushed to the same place.
Wow.
So I got into Wesley Girls High School. And my mother, the letters came, I was there. My friend Delphine was there. She lived in Polygon or somewhere. I think she had a better life than me. And they were, we're all going to go to Wesley Girls High School. And there was nothing, absolutely nothing to take. And I said to my mother, all you need to do is to get me a chop box and a trunk. That's all you need. You don't need to put food in the chop box. You don't need to put clothes in the trunk, just so that I can go there with something of representation of me coming there. And you need to find my fees. So that's what she did. She got a chop box, she got a trunk, and she found my money for the fees, of which I had to pay half in the beginning. So we went to Wesley Girls, and we had gone to Katamanto to get a few things. Unfortunately, we didn't get them on time. These are secondhand clothing, and we came to wash them. So they were so wet when they put it in my trunk to take Wesley Girls High School with one olonka, which is a container of gari, and some sugar. And that was it. And some shito. I had shito at the time. So that was it. I went in Wesley Girls High School. I got there, and Florence Abiu Jackson, who is now one of the very big doctors somewhere, she took my clothes out and they went to hang them out there just so that they could dry. I was there coming. I didn't know where I was. I'm in Wesley Girls. I didn't know where I was. Now, finally, I got to know it's a very posh school that all the big people went to. I said, okay, me too, I'm here.
Wow.
All the big people went to. And so I was coming down Ellis House. And then this house, the two houses. So there's Waldron House and Ellis House there. Waldron is one of the Waldron House, one of the very, very big houses, Block C. And I was in Block B in Ellis House. I was, Zoe, if you saw me at that time, you would never touch me with the longest of poles. You would never touch. I was like a size 0 minus. I was skinny. I was tiny to the bone. So this girl who came from a very poor family has nothing to represent for herself. It's not even beautiful too. What have I got going for me? So I was waddling my way around Blocks B, and I meet Naa Akowa. I think she's one of the maritime people now, one of the very big girls. Very, very smallish, Naa Akowa. Naa Akowa sees me, and Naa Akowa says, would you like an orange? Would you like an orange? And I'm like, typically, your response should be no, thank you. Apparently, I didn't know that. So Naa Akowa says, would you like an orange? And I say, I won't eat.
Is that the language you understand?
Yes, I thought I was being polite. I said, I won't eat. And then she goes, in Wesley Girls High School, you do not say, I won't eat. You say, no, thank you. Wesley Girls High School, welcome 101.
Wow.
Yeah. So she says, you don't say, no, thank you. I just want to fix this thing. Sorry, guys.
No, this is, wow.
Yeah, you don't say, I won't eat. You say, no, thank you. I'm thinking, look at you. You are just like me. As funny as me, you're asking me to
Fight.
So that came to pass. But Wesley Girls High School was a big thing for me because I had gotten out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
I have gone in a place where people were too kind. There were some very kind people, but people were not too kind because of the group or the crop of people that have come to mix. So I knew that I was very different. I knew that there were some people who really had daddies, not fathers. They had like daddies. And here I was with the father.
The difference is very distinct. Okay?
It is very distinct.
Daddies and then
And father.
call your father daddy. There's there's a difference. Child.
Here I was with the father, and there's this daddies coming in here and there. But I found the reason I'm saying the story, and I'll end in a minute, is that I found some really, really good people in Wesley Girls. One of the people who I call my friend and my sister, who was there for me, who did not see who I was, who actually saw something in me that is helping me today, is my very good friend, Dr. Swansea, Dr. Barbara. She's on the line today.
On the line. Thank
Barbara,
you. Thank you, Doctor.
Barbara,
wow. Thank you so much.
Barbara was, or still is, one of the people who was there for me irrespective. I don't know what she saw, but she would do anything. Wow. She would give me food. If I went to Barbara's house on holiday, and immediately I get there, she would not ask me if I was hungry. But for some reason, I believe she knew that I needed food, and she would give me food.
Give you food. Wow.
Barbara gives me food till today. Each time I'm in Ghana, she will bring me food.
I love it. Barbara, can I be your friend? Shoot. I need to give me food.
My husband's food. If my husband is in Ghana, I should go and give him food. give me food everywhere, give me food everywhere. She'll provide.
Thank you. Wow.
One day, Barbara, I don't think she remembers, but there was an entertainment night in Wesley Girls High School, and everybody was helping with the clothing. And I thought, oh, I can help with the fashion. And they said, no, Nada, you can't join in. You cannot help with the fashion.
Why?
So because they just look at you and they're like, no, you just can't, you cannot be part of this. And Barbara was with me, and Barbara told them, look, she can help you with the fashion because she is the one who even made me tie my scarf this way. And Barbara stood for me. And they would not let me join in still, but I believe my friend saw something in me that is helping me today, because today I sell clothing. Because today I dress people all around the world. I sell to every corner of the world. The last time I sold some clothing to Arkansas, and I called my mother general and said, Mother General, I'm selling clothes to your town in America. I sell clothes to all over the world. And when I remember what Barbara did and where I am as something that I do now, it's like, I just thank God that somebody saw something even when other people did not see it.
Yes.
The take-home story here is that you need to see or be aware of other people's suffering. And for the end of the world, or till the end of time, you would have a place in their heart.
Yes.
And even when you do anything wrong, that good will overshadow that one.
Overshadow it. Wow.
Barbara has been amazing. She is still amazing. If my children call you auntie, you are a family member, and they call her Auntie Barbara. So she's a family member.
Barbara, I know you're here and you're listening. Your one act of kindness or several acts of kindness has brought us here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there will be so much more. But everyone in the chat room is saying thank you. EJOD says everyone needs a friend like Barbara. Of course, Barbara, we want to say thank you. Of course, we're joking and saying, hey, food. You know, when I come to Ghana, I also want food. But from the bottom of my heart, personally, I want to say thank you, because character is built when we're young.
Yeah.
You know, some people, you know, kind of.
But can I just say, Zoe, I think I have a grudge against Barbara, though. We want.
Do we want to mediate?
I think Barbara should hear this. I think she doesn't remember, but we went to Accra together. We went to Accra, Makola, with Barbara, and Barbara bought some apples. And then,
hey, Barbara, waiting apple.
And then this is what Barbara said. She said, Nada. In
fact, we've all done that before.
She said, Nada. As for this one, I'm not going to share with you.
I've been sharing my food with you. So
I'm not going to share this one with you.
Apple is for rich people too. No. Lady Juliet says that gun has arrived.
That's what she said.
Oh, wow.
So my imagination took me to Wesley Girls High School. I have a few imaginations. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to wrap up.
Wow.
My imaginations has opened a lot of doors for me. And I must say that this is because of the leverage of some discernment that God has given me as a gift. I cannot just ride on and say it's just my imagination, but I have this gift that makes me work through things. I have a different ear from which I hear, and that has actually come about because of the intimacy that I have become to rely on God, because that is my only leverage.
That's
the intimacy, that I have, that is my only leverage. God is the only one who seems to has a track record of not disappointing me. So I have come to rely on that leverage. And it hasn't failed. It hasn't failed. It hasn't failed. In my jobs, when I came into the United Kingdom, I worked in two very prestigious hotels. I worked in the St. Martin's Lane Hotel and I worked at the Grosvenor. I worked there in these two places as a cleaner. I was a chambermaid, so I was just making beds and cleaning the hotel. These are hotels that the last time I checked, a night at the Martin's Lane in the standard room was £950.
The who?
So,
Come as she's are you sleeping on? They better have gold in it.
So I'm sure you'd like it. Their thread count alone, your body will be different when you lie on their thread count.
And the next time we're in London,
it has to be the Martin's Lane, yeah. So I went in these two places and I've traveled from Forest Hill in Southeast London all the way to the West End to work in St. Martin's Lane, Trafalgar Square. And on my way, it takes me a whole hour and more to get there, but I'll go through King's College Hospital. And when I get to King's College Hospital, I start to sing a song. And the song goes, meaning say, me soni mi haunina, e bedani mi siri, na me mo se, mi dimafo, nyamitiasi, mi re wasida, me mo se, ubetu mi aye, which translates, I know my God will do all things for me. And I look at that hospital and I said, I'd work here. It happened for a very long time. Then,
wow.
Yeah. And then I went into Ghana and my husband applies for a job for me at King's College Hospital. And the time comes for me to go to the interview. And I get to the interview stage and I couldn't have childcare to leave my baby. Here I was going for a new job that I've always wanted, and I didn't have anybody to leave my child to so I could go to the interview. So I carry my child in her pushchair, you people call strollers, and I take her into the interview. I take my daughter into the interview. Long story short, I got the job. I started work, and that's how my career as a biomedical scientist started in this country.
Oh my God. I have goosebumps.
So that happened. I haven't got the job already. I have childcare problems. You can see that I have a child that I don't have childcare for. But I got the job. I did the job for a while and I needed to move on. I moved on and I started working in Oxford. And in Oxford Radcliffe Hospital was a place at the time when I was working there with minority, like very little minorities, very, very little. I think I could count the number of Black people there at the time. And so at the time I was having a lot of struggles, personal struggles. And they realized that I needed help with a lot of things, especially with my job. So they pushed me into a corner of the lab where I could be by myself for some reason. And I was in that place, and there's this professor called Paul Harrison. He's one of the gurus in platelet microparticles. He was doing it as his life's work. And he would call me and say, can you come and look at this? I'm thinking, the man is so excited about showing me things that I have no knowledge about.
Wow.
And he kept showing me. So because he kept showing me, I had to keep reading about what he was showing me. And for some reason, I became quite astute in that knowledge. And that coagulation lab opened endless opportunities for me right now. They pushed me to keep me to the side in that place.
And
God found me there. Yeah, God found me there. And it's like putting me on a roller skate. You cannot stop me. I'm just going to go on and on and on. And this has made my life so meaningful because what I do right now, I enjoy it. I really do. I really, really enjoy what I do. it hasn't just opened. There are lots of people who don't work in my specialty. It is a niche specialty, and the people who would be working in my field usually don't have a niche specialty. And that has opened many doors for me. It sends me to many places around the world, and I just love what I do. And all of this has come through the hand of Yeshua HaMashiach, the Most High God. And I'd say to you today, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of where you are, irrespective of your religion, there is a God who, when you call upon, is able to say, here I am. Tell me what you want, and I will do it for you. So if you are here and you do not have any religion, if you do not have a God, I introduce you to my God, the God and the Lord of the Son Jesus Christ. Follow this God. He is still helping me. The things that God is doing in my life are truly amazing. I will tell you the last story about what God has done for me.
So I think we have about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'll just tell you the last story.
And you have one question to answer, just so you know.
Okay, no problem. So God gives me this little prompts as to what to do in my time of difficulty. My daughter is a brilliant student, but quite a fearful one. She doesn't believe in her work. And it came for her to go to university, and she's saying, oh, mommy, I don't know whether I would get this uni. I don't know, but I want to go to this uni. I don't know if I'll get this uni. I said, if that is where you want to go to, that is what you're going to have. Your mother, I'm sitting here and I'm praying. So I said, let's go visit the school. We went to visit the school. And luckily, the school was on recess. I said, the Bible has told me that wherever I step my feet, I'm going to inherit the land. So I took off my shoes and I started praying length and breadth of the campus. Long story short, my daughter made brilliant grades and she is in this university. I just thank God for all the wonderful things that he keeps doing and he will continue to do. And with that, I end my stories.
You know, it takes a certain kind of storyteller to shut me up. I've been shut up for a very long time. Just if you guys have noticed, I'm normally a little bit more engaging where I would say, wait, and then we'll talk a little more. But my goodness, and I like that you bring it all home. The one thing we keep doing on here, even though we haven't, gone and raised up a flag and said, this is a Christian show, because really we're a storytelling show. For one reason or another, the stories always comes back to the one true God every single time, regardless of who is telling the story. Everybody that comes here acknowledges that for the stories they've gone through, the experiences they've gone through, and what they are doing now with their lives, they know there is an invisible,
there is a higher being.
And there is a higher being, and I am just so grateful for that. And thank you for bringing it all home. Now, because if you don't answer this question, Madam Producer and I are not, yeah. So I'm gonna let you answer this question, which is what birthed this passion for history? For those of you who just joined the show, you have to go and watch the beginning of the show. Let me tell you, Nada brought fire. Okay, now I have like a whole reading list that I have to go and research, and research even my own people, because it when I tell you we're one, we really are one. And Nada really showed us today as Africans how we really are one. We really are one. So you do have to do that. But Nada, just go ahead and
thank you, Big Sister Elsie. And can I just say that Big Sister Elsie, my goodness, she was one of the very kind people in Wesley Girls High School. When I went there, she was, I think, in lower 6 or upper 6. and she would come in her very beautiful skirt. If you know Elsie Kuchwati,
I just know it. I just know it.
if you know Elsie Kuchwati, and then we got all the yes, sister Elsie. She'll say something, we go, yes. While the seniors are bullying people, Sister Elsie will come and speak to us, and we all go, yes, Sister Elsie.
Oh.
So yes, Sister Elsie, I did realize from some kind of age that the Ga community is losing its history. The Ga community does not actually know what they are and who they are. The Ga language in itself has transformed a lot. And the way we speak it now is mixed with a whole load. So you'd hear a bit of tree there, you'd hear a bit of ever there. It's also mixed up.
Really?
Yeah. The Ga that we speak now is not the original Ga. It's not the original Ga at all. So that passion is birthed in me just so that there will be a continuity of what we are losing day by day. Because when you get to Accra now, the Ga community is a very, very small community. And if you go to the market, all you hear is, this is a Ga accent, a Ga speaking person, speaking Chi to sell their merchandise because we are losing that art of speaking Ga to each other. So that passion is there so that I can actually pass it on. My children are living in this country. My daughter's name is Naa Yale. My son's name is Nii Yartey. And my little one is Yako. And we have on purpose given them Ghanaian names because when my daughter was born, my husband said, what if she goes to marry somebody from Slovakia? And then the name gets missing. The Slovakians will say there is no Naa Yale Popolowski anywhere. Naa Yale must be coming from somewhere else.
Yo, that last name though.
So that is the reason, just so that there will be posterity. And who sowed this passion in me? I have been looking at people who also are doing the same thing, just to send that message across that we are a people who should not die. We are a people who should not get missing. Because when you look at the Israelis, there are most people who are called the lost tribes of Israel. They get missing as they go along the way. So we are doing this just to keep us alive, just to keep our heritage alive.
Wow. And what a beautiful way to answer this question. And let's kind of even open it up a little more and say, as a continent, let us not lose ourselves. As a country, let us not lose ourselves. Again, the main purpose of To My Younger Self has always and will always be that we tell stories that helps us to identify with ourselves. I love that you are unapologetically gone. And I love that you didn't say, well, this is a platform that tells stories, so let me just keep no. I implore each and every one of you that, will come on the show, has come on the show, will be in the master classes eventually. Be unapologetically you. And of course, as we're doing that, you see us as we do the greetings. I'm always saying, this is my father tongue and this is my mother tongue. Let us hold dear these things because nobody else will for us. Because if somebody else was telling this story that Nada just shared, they would not do it justice. Can you imagine me, a Kusasi girl from Boku Central, trying to give a Ga history lesson? It would lose so much in translation because I didn't live in the midst of the people of Ghana. And that's what we're saying. Please let us continue to identify ourselves. And therein, in saying this, there ends Zoe's weekly rants, as I like to call them. They're not rants because rants are normally like, very hyper and sometimes angry, but I tend to go on a little longer than normal. That's why I call them rants. Nada, my goodness, Thank you. What an honor. What
Thank
an
you, Zoe. It's
And
a
you have
pleasure.
just succeeded in planting some seeds in a lot of people's hearts. Not highly favored. That let me tell you, you guys, man. I'm gonna go change my name to something.
Oh, thank you,
Because Nada,
Nabia.
I'm coming for God tutorials. Well done, my dear. It is incredible what you have done today. As you were speaking, I felt that this particular storytelling time session has presented a shift to my younger self. Something has shifted. We just don't know what it is, but we're grateful because it's a good shift. And I think my producer will
Sorry.
only witness something has shifted, and we're grateful for that. In lieu of, no, not in lieu, but keeping in line. Let's do it that way. Keeping in line with us saying to ourselves, we want to support each other and we want to help each other. Can you imagine a Kusasi girl and a Ga girl sitting at a table and doing this? Who would have thought? It is incredible. It's incredible because we're helping each other, and we want you to take it even further. Listen, put your money where your heart is. If your heart is in Africa, put your money there. Keep it small and keep it big at the same time. And so what we're saying to you is we want you to just patronize a few people. For those of you who are donating to the Sir Don Francis excursion, we want to say thank you. You're doing incredible. God bless you. We'll wait till the end of the day, or probably the end of the week, actually give you a little more time so that you can give more, and then Friday evening we'll send everything over to Big Brother Nana Redamwa so that Don Francis would get his class together for a great excursion to Accra. They will go see hopefully Decan Center. They will go see Black Star Circle or Square, I think he said, and a few other places in Accra, because these kids have actually never traveled to Accra. So we want that. Hopefully we can even throw in that where they get to see the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. If somebody here on the platform is able to facilitate that, please reach out to either me, or if you know Naa Akowa herself, just reach out to her and kind of say, hey, we would like for the kids to visit this part of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and we'll try to make that happen, because you don't know what seed you're sowing. You know what I mean? So thank you for that. Please support Wear Ghana. These are tried and tested vendors and merchants and sellers and entrepreneurs who are doing great things for Ghana. In fact, before we even say Wear Ghana, please support Nada Yartey herself. She's a fashion designer and she sells things online. Nada, you're going to probably go in there and put in the comment section all of your handles so that people will know where to find you to patronize your fashion house, right? Exactly. Of course, Humanity Chat. We were last week. We had the host or hostess of Humanity Chat, Margie Marge, here. We were discussing her book, Conversations About Race. It was incredible, incredible. So you do want to just, every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. EST, if you have time, actually, no, do make time, because a lot of you make time for us on Tuesday mornings. Make time for her. It's 30 minutes. You just get to hear about humans from all around the world. And Humanity Chat, she's always saying she's a cheerleader for most human beings. I like that she puts the word most there. Kua Designs, man, I got to throw out my Kua Design purse this weekend. Girl, I was feeling fly, and they had that African thing on there, and people were asking, where did you get this purse? That's how we sell Africa. So definitely Kua Designs, music for your quality feet with Uncle Coffee Show every Sunday. Just, we're communal people. We like to, you guys just heard the ringtone that Nada gave me, right? She says, we love to sing and we love to dance. So it's just a group of people hanging out as a community online virtually. So you do want to find that. Clatural from out of New York. M. Sims by Mabel Simpson. She is out in Ghana. Ryle by Design in New York, but via Kenya. Avonzige Bridal, also in Accra. Keys and Credo by Nana Sapong. Horseman Shoes, Caveman Watches. Book Nook by Big Brother Nana Redamo, of course, and Kofi Akagli. Kunda Kids out of the UK. They are a couple from Nigeria and Uganda doing incredible things. Lions Historian by Rosamund Sapong Owens, who is also just joining the bid to tell Africa's stories to children. There's just so many people. Madam Producer, can you please remind me? I'm wearing some beads. Listen, you know if you're an African girl, no matter where you are, you be wearing beads. Okay, I'm wearing some beads. Madam Producer, please put it in the comment section because I forgot to put it in our notes here. But this lady, she is an incredible bead maker. Okay. All we're saying is there is enough room up the top for all of us. So why don't we pull each other up? Let's just pull each other up. As we're telling stories, let's pull each other up. And that's what To My Younger Self is about. Of course, to our monthly donors, I want to say thank you to Rose Machayo. Auntie Rose, we haven't seen you in a while. We want to say thank you to you, Jane Fiorito. Thank you, Auntie B of Exceptional Care. Thank you, Mr. EKD. We want to say thank you, Auntie Araba. Thank you for all of you who are always connecting us to people, networking with us. Essentially, you all have become producers in one way or another. We want to say thank you. To My Younger Self is very, very, very grateful. Okay. Yes, and Madam Producer has put it here. Quinn Ashka is a Kelm. That's why I couldn't remember. I'm like, I know there's Kelm Beats and all things Africa. Man, she does incredible work. Guys, it has been a wonderful, wonderful time hanging out with Nada, the Duchess of Choco herself. Duchess, what would be the last thing you want to leave us with?
I just want to say that as a people, just keep on loving, just keep on sharing, and just be self-aware who you are around, because it is not by no means a mistake the steps that you take and the people who go past you every day. So just be self-aware and keep loving.
Wow. Be self-aware.
And thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, all the producers of To My Younger Self.
I knew I should not have allowed you to do that because you were going to come back and do a thank you. And I think we need new equipment here because this mouse is doing that thing that it did the last time, even though it was fully charged and it's supposed to be whatever it is. I'm not sure what this is, but something weird is going on, and it's all good. We're gonna plug in another mic here and another mouse here rather, and we're just gonna sign off. It's all good. This is what we do. To My Younger Self, we just stay real all the time.
Yeah, we are real indeed. Yeah.
We are, and we have a mouse. It's functioning. It's working. Look at that. Yay!
Yay!
Listen, Nada, it has been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you on the
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much.
Don't leave yet. We're gonna close out, and you and I will have a little chat, guys.
Okay.
So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. Where what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're Where you get, what you show.